I guess starring in a Star Wars movie and keeping all your limbs is too much to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't really like arms in the Star Wars universe.
No, they
don't. They don't. Hey everybody, welcome back to our review of Logan Lucky. Of course, we have Mario.
Zach over here.
Yes, absolutely. And we just came straight out. We're fresh out of the movie, and yeah, as you'll know, the director Steven Soderbergh came out of retirement for this. It was his big, one last hurrah. Was that one last hurrah?
It was. Is that his last hurrah?
Maybe his last whimper, but we'll get more into it. So, yeah, as you all know, Steven Soderbergh, of course, the Ocean's 11 trilogy. He directed all three?
I think all three,
yeah. So all three. Then we have Contagion, Side Effects, your favorite movie, Magic Mike. I gotta say, man, at least for the movies that I have seen from him, this is the weakest so far. Because it looks like he's trying to mix elements that are like, sure, a lot of them are really clever, but he's trying to mix in like this like redneck version of like Ocean's 11, and it just wasn't working for me.
Yeah, that is actually a really good description.
Yeah. I was thinking like Coen Brothers like meet Ocean's 11, but it's just like no, they're just rednecks.
That's exactly what it is. It's oh my god, it's like Tucker versus Evil.
I know.
Tries to like do an Italian job.
Yeah.
It's oh my god. It started off so good too. Like I don't know about
really?
you. For me, it like introduced everything really well. There was a little bit too much drama here and there, but it de-escalated way too quickly. And then they started overcomplicating things and like trying to add more to the story than they honestly needed to.
See, that's where I was actually thinking it started off really slow, and I mean really slow. Because I mean, sure, you're meeting the characters for the first time, but it's nothing that's like so unique or insanely interesting that you're just like, wow, I really wonder how this character will change or what they're going to be like. There's not a huge arc in terms of how these characters behave.
No, especially during the whole story, but it was at the beginning at least. The hilarity was close enough together that I could deal with it. But I think you felt the same way as the story goes on, the funny points just are far and in between, and they don't carry it anymore.
Almost all the funny scenes are in the trailer, and the only things that I got a kick out of was once they actually meet Daniel Craig, which at least for the most part is playing a very interesting character because he's not like that British, just putting his tie up, getting his shit all together with his martinis. No, he's just a redneck amongst a bunch of rednecks, and at least that way it is entertaining, but it doesn't last, throughout the whole movie. And so yeah, they're finally coming up with the plan to make the heist because they're going to steal the money underneath the stadium for a NASCAR race, and that's when it starts to get interesting when they have a clear goal, when they're in a mission, and when shit goes wrong, which it obviously will. That's when you're having fun. But I mean, like I said, that's not the whole story.
No, and I think I lost interest when Daniel Craig is like talking about how to make gummy bears explosive. That was great. That part was great. But after that, I didn't care, especially because the ending was really dumb. I mean, we won't go over it quite yet, but it definitely killed any like half interest I had earlier in the film.
Yeah.
Because it was supposed to be a really easy in and out job, but then they overblew way too much. Like, I know like things get complicated sometimes, but they just added complications that didn't exist and like weren't important. And there were some like weird tangents too, like with the whole race driver thing. That threw me through a loop.
Yeah, there's this weird tangent where they actually focus on this lady getting a birth cake delivered and having her car struck while it was parked, and that was
why did they strike her car? They never went over that.
That really didn't go anywhere. It looked like they were kind of like fucking it up during editing, but it looks. I was paying attention because I was like, oh, maybe this will play a part later on, but it really doesn't go anywhere. And yeah, I mean, I feel like we're like on opposite ends. Like you liked it when it was more simple and like with and just more straightforward. I was liking it when it was getting more complicated and convoluted, because that was the only fun parts of the movie. For me, the really hilarious parts that were outside of the actual heist were the two brothers that are the Daniel Craig character's brothers.
Yeah, those
were the only ones that were actually like the two fuck ups that were you could actually like enjoy watching.
They were like so funny because they were like that's so stupid.
Yeah,
you can't fight with them.
I know Twitters. It's really. I was hoping to get more from Adam Driver and Channing Tatum, because we've all seen them in whatever it is that you like from them. But they play. I mean, maybe they were telling him like play like simple simple hicks, but they took it way too far, and they were way too simple minded for their characters good.
I think for Channing Tatum, yes, but for his brother, I kind of liked that. Like he almost had this shell shocked kind of air about him, and he's just like so wary of everything.
But they don't really develop that a whole lot. Like
again,
you can
but then
easily
they don't
miss it.
Well, they don't develop anything. Also, like
no.
I kept on getting confused because they kept on flipping back and forth. Like either he lost his arm in the mine or at the military.
No, they did confirm that it was because it was in his military service that he did lose his arm.
Then why did they say it was at the mine? There's so many things that weren't properly flushed out. They just like quietly undertone it, like, oh, you did in the army. Anyway, they're like, wait, no, like, if you're trying to make a point about this, like, make a point about it so we can know what the heck's going on. Again, that's what, like, all the tangents at the end. It's just, there's people doing things that, in the background, like, with the sister doing shit, and it was just way too complicated at the end. You were like putting your seat up. Like,
yeah,
early
I know.
On. You're like,
I was just okay, this is what where we're headed.
Or you think it's over.
Because I was expecting like a funny romp. You know, we're gonna follow the underdogs as like they take down like this big man kind of like company NASCAR and everything. But I did not get that, man. I was expecting like more cleverness. I was expecting like more hijinks. We don't get enough of the hijinks.
There's a twist at the end that didn't pay off for me, I don't think, with Channing Tatum's character of like what he did with the money and everything.
Even if you like it, which I did like it, but it's so late in the movie that by then you're just like, at least I was already like blacking out like at the first ending. But I wanted it to. I feel like if this was an hour and a half, it would have been a lot more enjoyable. Because it was how long? Like 2 hours?
This is a 2.5 hour movie.
Yeah.
And it did not.
It felt like 5.
There's a lot of like tangents also with the family and like his daughter and just his complicated relationship with his ex-wife. And I just couldn't keep up at a certain point. Like halfway through, again, like when the Daniel Craig like started the whole heist, that was when I was like, okay, it's all going downhill from here.
Yeah, and it's very hard to like get a beat on the actual dialogue and the writing, because sure, like what you said, like the dialogue is pretty straightforward and at times comedic.
Yeah.
This writer, she was actually working under a pseudonym, so it's irrelevant if I were to know her real name, because she doesn't have a real name. It was just a fake name, and she just sent emails to the cast. Those were like her writing notes, and she doesn't have any other credits to her name. I mean, she's not highlighted on Wikipedia.
Yeah, and you can tell, like, it just isn't flushed out writing.
No.
In terms of how everything else, I know we're beating on this film really hard.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to beat on it too badly, but I mean, even in terms of visuals, and I mean, the editing was decently done. Mm-hmm. I mean, it just kind of try to keep up with the story was the issue of them trying to put all these like little gems in there that they collected about half of them.
The heist itself was actually really well edited. Like you could follow everything that was happening. Nothing got confusing. But yeah, those were the only times that I felt like the actual movie had any forward motion. Whenever we go to like the family drama and like him with this girl, I mean, don't get me wrong, she's cute as hell. But I was just like, you're not enough. I need more than this.
Well, it halts so abruptly every time we go back to the family. Because it's just really quick action, especially when they're like meeting the brothers and Daniel Craig and all this. And then, halt! We need to go over this really quick. We need to set Channing Tatum's character.
Yeah.
Like, he's a, vulnerable man, blah, blah, blah. And then go back flying into it, and it's like, there's, like, too much unnecessarily build-up, especially when it doesn't pay off at the end. And you just need to keep things simple.
Exactly, man. And I feel like even though they were, like, keeping it simple and straightforward, they could have benefited from a little bit more goofiness. Because, I mean, in itself, the story, as we're just saying, like these two guys were underground a NASCAR race trying to steal money from a fucking vacuum. That sounds fucking hilarious. Yeah. So, the story itself is set up for having, like, a really quirky, really funny comedy. But it's like the characters themselves and how they are written, and even how they act, it doesn't seem like they're pushing it to that level where their characters match up the story.
Right.
It felt like it was a very unreal situation, but you actually put more realistic characters in that situation, and it wasn't blending for me.
I really did wish it was more comedic. Like, again, like you said about the trailer, like, I thought it was going to be very almost campy,
I thought we were going to get another Coen Brothers thing going on.
Yeah, exactly. And I would have very much preferred that over this. I mean,
it feels like a Coen Brothers movie at times, because you get, like, all these eccentric and, like, weird characters. Like, Seth MacFarlane, I was just feeling like, he's gonna be, like, the Jesus, or, like, like the Anton Chigurh, like, just that weird motherfucker that you have in the movie. And even he plays it very straightforward, which is not what you tell Seth MacFarlane. Like, you want him to play it up.
That's not what you're hiring him for.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what you're getting into. You know what you asked for.
Yeah, it looked like he was straight out of Talladega Nights, but just not as fun.
Yeah. I mean, everyone just... I really hate two characters. One, that freaking 70s stash race car driver.
So yeah, Seth MacFarlane, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
sorry. He looks so weird in this.
It's alright.
Yeah. And fucking the FBI director.
Yeah.
That killed it so quickly.
My complaints is less about the character, because she had no fault in it. She was written into this because her character is not presented to the audience until, like, the last 20 minutes of the movie. And this is where I feel like it's a more of a segue.
Yeah, they introduced like 5 characters in the last 10 minutes of the film.
So the actual ending that we have is at the end of the heist, and it's fine as it is. Like, the movie could have totally ended there, and it would have been perfect. But then they keep going with this FBI investigation, and they're adding characters way too late in the game for us to even kind of give a shit. So, you're already expecting the movie to be over, but then you have, like, what was it, like half an hour worth of bureaucratic bullcrap that doesn't lead anywhere.
Yeah, there was no point in showing all of that. Like, we didn't need to know how, why, that really didn't matter. Like, again, there was, like, one scene with Daniel Craig at the end that I really liked, which we'll spoil later.
Yeah.
And that was the only big payoff that I really appreciated. Because they totally mentioned that. They set up earlier in the game, and then they had that. And that cut. Just end it. Like, stop showing 50 more characters coming in. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It ruined it. And then especially when she comes back at the very, very end.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
That was so dumb.
A tiny bit clever, I'll give it to them. But yeah, no, I'll agree with you. It's all too little, too late, and by then you're just over it. I wanted the movie to be over like half an hour ago. Yeah. I'm amazed it has like 90% on Rotten Tomatoes and all of that shit. I just feel like critics are like, oh no, it's Steven Soderbergh. No, you can't do that. It's a masterpiece. So I definitely understand that who's behind it, but I mean, if this is what he's saying goodbye with, it's not the best, especially considering his previous work.
Right? Yeah, that was not going out with a bang. Like, if this is your bye, like, bye. Please go back to retirement.
Yeah, man. So,
little rusty.
What do you say? Ratings?
Yeah, let's just get into this. Oh man, I wanted to see this film. You really wanted to see Hitman's Bodyguard.
I kind of did.
But I saw the reviews, and I thought it was just going to be complete shit. And this one had the 93%. I'm like, let's do it, man. Like,
wait. Did you choose this movie on the basis of Rotten Tomatoes and not literally any other review? Wah.
That's what I fucking did. Like, Jesus Christ. I had hope. Again, it looked funny and campy in the freaking trailer. Mm-hmm. I wanted to see, like, this weird, funny Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
None of it paid off, like, honestly. it didn't have enough entertainment value for me to want to. Like, I don't think I'll see this again.
No, you're fine watching it.
Yeah. Like, there's nothing extravagant about this film. So, honestly, nitty gritty, down to the dirty, like, Netflix and chill. Like, that was hard to say even. Like,
it's very easy to chill to this because you'll fall asleep.
Yeah, I was shifting a lot during this film. Normally, I can just like get lost in this, but man, I was just.
Yeah, no, you see me. I had like the model thing with like the seats that went back.
Grabbed a pillow out of nowhere.
I know. I was doing my best Jurassic Park thing, you know, where he's laying down and stuff. You know?
Oh yeah. But I really try to like find like a really good positive about this film, but everything was at best mediocre. Mm-hmm. I mean, we give the editing good compliments. Filming wise, it looked good. You know, no complaints, but nothing over the top. You know, nothing that added to anything. So I can't give that a 2 thumbs up. So I just have to get a Netflix and chill because if it ends up on Netflix and you're interested, it's not like a terrible film. Like it didn't make me not want to, you know, throw up in my mouth a little bit or anything. So it's got that going for it. I'm sorry, but yeah, that's Netflix and chill for me.
So yeah, no, I'm gonna definitely say it's also a Netflix for me. It's a very low tier Netflix. Yeah, like very low. Like if you're done, like whenever this comes out, if it were on Netflix now, like just finish The Defenders, check out Moana, you know, because there's a whole lot of better stuff. And by the way, Disney is gonna pull all of its Netflix shit soon. So you better get cracking on that. You know, get your Disney
marathon.
Exactly. Fuck the mouse. I have to say, this movie, I was expecting, like, again, another Coen Brothers romp, you know, meets Ocean's 11 with, like, a funny heist movie. Now, the heist is actually really good. I'll give Steven Soderbergh that. I did enjoy the parts where the characters are actually on a mission, where there's a definite goal set, but, like I said, all those dramatic elements with the family and everything was not working for me. The laughs, there, but they're spread very, very thin throughout the movie. I was expecting a lot more from Channing Tatum and Adam Driver, especially because, I mean, there's no excuse for Channing Tatum. Like, you can't call him just a pretty boy after seeing movies like Foxcatcher and stuff like that. Like, the guy has the chops for it, but I don't know. I just don't feel like they were well directed here in a way that, you know, they needed to amp the craziness to match the craziness of the plot.
Right.
This is literally the definition of one of those movies that's good on paper, but it didn't work out on the actual screen. So, yeah, no, I'm gonna give it a Netflix. It just made me feel like watching all the other heist movies now. I just want to go watch, like, Ocean's 11, The Town. Like, I want to...
Yeah, right?
I want to see, like, those crazy-ass heist movies. But, yeah, I'm not even gonna say it lied to me, like the trailers gave me false hopes or anything. I'm just going to say that, sure, I came with my expectations, but even early on in the movie, you can tell that it's going to take a different direction, and it was not a direction I liked. So, yeah, it's a very, I don't know, I don't feel like it's a movie that meshes well. You know, like the clogs are not all, like the cogs in the works are not all working together.
It jammed a little bit near the end, especially.
It jammed. Oh my god, that ending, man! I just want to. It's the ending is the one thing that like really like brought this down for me. Yeah, so a good old very low Netflix.
All right, so before we clock out,
they were in on it the whole time.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, there's not a lot to spoil here. Honestly, like, it's pretty cut and dried film. The only thing I would say, like, in terms of like positives that I couldn't really get into is there's a scene at the very end where it's all the heist is done, and spoiler alert, he gives all the money like back pretty much to NASCAR. He like does an anonymous call, and he has like a truck full of all the money, and they take it all back. And so that's why the FBI comes in. It's just a whole fiasco. But in the convoluted mess of everything, he does grab a couple bags of money. Which, again, they're like, yeah, we got all of our money back. Did you, though?
And by the way, wouldn't that be a really shitty way of getting your own? Because those are, like, very like unorganized, random amounts of bills.
I know.
So you could have just gone like a garbage bag full of ones.
Yeah. Yeah. This wasn't flushed out. But so that happens, and so Daniel Craig gets out of prison, and he hears that all the money's back, and obviously he's pissed. You know, like as you would be, like you got hired for this job and you get nothing out of it. But he gets a knock on the door, and he goes outside, and no one's there. That kind of dumb shit, and you're like, oh, what? Is this gonna be a bag on the fucking like deck or something? Nope, just a red shovel. And what they did earlier on is to get Daniel Craig onto this job, they're like, hey man, like your stash of money for when you get out, it's gone. Like we know about it. Like we didn't do it, but it's gone. Like that pile of cash under your red swing, it's gone. And he was like, fuck. And so what they do, someone knocks on the door, red shovel. He looks at it like, what the fuck? Like, and he goes to go back inside. And he's like, what? Wait a minute. Looks towards the red swing, starts shoveling, and there it is. That I appreciated. It sounds really dumb the way I sounded. I made it. It sounds dumb, but it worked really well for the film, and that was where it should have ended. Honestly, everything else with the whole bullshit with the FBI director, like getting in with the groupies, and like all this dumb, the background of all this dumb shit. I thought like they were gonna place the blame on the driver.
Yeah.
And then I thought they're gonna nab the NASCAR guy, like for like insurance fraud, because like when all the money got stolen, obviously NASCAR hasn't insured, so they get it back. That whole dumb shit. None of that pays off. I got confused.
To add to another thing that doesn't pay off, which should have been a hilarious scene where you have the FBI director actually interviewing Seth MacFarlane's character, because he actually saw he actually saw Adam Driver there and actually got the shit punched out of him.
By a one-armed guy.
Exactly. So his brother had two arms, right? He had both, okay? So, no, it should have been a very hilarious scene. It's played very straightforward.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's devoid of all fun. This is the best way I can describe the movie. Like, everybody online is like, oh my god, it's a hilarious, like, high-octane romp. It is not. I was not entertained for at least like 70% of the movie. Yeah, the one thing that I also found entertaining was when, as part of their plan, they're actually using a distraction, which is a riot in prison. Mm-hmm. So they have to the prisoners have to bullshit their way into it, and they're just like, our demands are the next Game of Thrones book. Everybody else in other prisons have a we want them too.
Yeah, I did those are the only side things I really was the whole prison situation. That was fucking hilarious how on point everyone was willing to do this for Daniel Craig. Oh my god. I was not expecting that. That shit was funny.
Yeah.
Even the Warren and everything. Warden.
Yeah.
Or the whole situation, that was great.
Just
there's no fires in this prison.
Yeah.
Yeah, but everything else just didn't pay off. The whole thing with his daughter being in the beauty pageant and all that, they put way too much focus on that for whatever reason. That had no part of the film. That was the only. I have nothing else to say about this.
It's a simple story. The heist itself is a tiny bit complicated, but the overall story line is very simple.
Yeah.
And that's something that I'm amazed. I don't know what Steven Soderbergh went into this
I know. I don't know what part he played in this, because obviously the writer just didn't care, emailing everything. Really, who the fuck would if whoever was the producer on this, he should have been no, you need the writer here. What are you doing?
Yeah,
this is not how it operates.
Or he probably just made it up and wrote it himself, you know.
Or that.
But at the same time, it's I don't feel like this is worth watching in theaters. It's really. How can it be so simple and convoluted at the same time?
Yeah.
You know, and the last half hour just drags on like crazy.
Yeah.
The FBI director gets introduced to us at the last 10 minutes, and we're supposed to follow now. And now we went from this somewhat comedic heist, and now we're going to this legal process.
Yeah.
So it's like it just doesn't blend together. I feel like there were like good ideas throughout, but they just, like I said, they were jamming themselves up.
They really quick, and then by the end you just didn't give a shit. Like,
yeah, man. And I was hoping Daniel Craig would be like more of a standout. He really wasn't.
No, well, he wasn't really written in to be one. Like I think he could have. Like again, if they made this more comedic with his character and how like I kind of wanted him to like.
I wanted him to be like the unpredictable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know, I wanted it to be like the one where you don't know what he's doing. But I mean, sure, like he does have his moments, especially when, like you said,
fucking gummy bears
with the gummy bear bombs, where he actually has to like break it down on the wall with like a whole chemistry formula.
Lesson,
you know, like fucking sodium nitrate, and like so. Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot to spoil.
That was it.
Yeah.
Basic. That really.
Yeah, that's really like the major spoilers. So, yeah. Thank you all so much for listening. Check us out on Facebook, SoundCloud, Stitcher, iTunes. We're out there working on the website. Definitely check out our next reviews, and we're actually going to have a little rehash special.
Right. So, in regards to our viewer sending in a request, we watched The Last Dragon, 1985.
Last Dragon.
Spoiler alert. That was a great film. I think for both of us. So definitely check into that review because we're gonna review the shit out of that. That was a fucking great film. Also, if you're just tuning in to us on your podcast, this is actually a video as well. So definitely check us out on YouTube if you want to see our lovely faces.
Is this a video?
What? Oh shit!
Dude, you told me you weren't recording this. God damn it.
And then let me put on a shirt. Other than that, keep on tuning in with us, guys, and we'll be with you again next week for whatever else comes out. I'm not sure what else is coming out in the next weekend. We never do. We never plan ahead. You know us.
We're
Get over it.
professionals.
We're professionals. All right, and we'll professionally see you next time.